Alright, now it's happening. Now we're ready.
I'm about to nick this light off you. It's quite wavy.
What?
I need to get one of these.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Okay. Alright, welcome back, guys.
Alright.
Either the second or third episode, depending on what we do with what we
With what we've got so far.
what we've got. I need to think about if I'm gonna release that. I've told you why.
Yeah.
It's a bit Anyways, today we're here to talk about Tenet.
There you go.
Tenet. There you go.
Not Tenet.
Yeah, I was calling it Tenet.
Yeah.
If you lot are calling it Tenet, it's wrong. It's Tenet.
Yeah, obviously. If you watch the movie, you know that.
Tenet was a movie that we found out about January time. February time.
Ages ago, man. We've been excited for this.
Because it's a Christopher Nolan movie, and if you don't know Christopher Nolan, then you're a fool, man.
Yeah, go watch
you need
Christopher Nolan movies.
You need to know about this guy.
Yeah.
And
we've been like literally. I think when the first teaser trailer came out, you sent it to me, and we were like gassed straight away. And that was 6 months ahead of when it was first supposed to come out as well.
meant to come out in June, and then
Yeah, and then it got delayed. And
sort of messed up again, and then came out. I want to say it's last week Friday. I have a feeling it was last week Friday.
Yeah.
And we've gone today, and when we're talking about it, and if you have clicked onto this, there are going to be lots of spoilers. We're literally going to go through every single moment of this movie.
Oh, no, not every single moment. We've been
I'm ready to go through everything, because at the end of it,
alright, cool, let's go down the wormhole, bro. I'm ready.
I don't know what happened, so
Yeah.
we're going to be going through it. I feel like you know a bit more than I do. Because, like, you were saying some stuff.
Thing is, I don't want to be at the start of it, oh, yeah, I understood it all. And then you're going to ask me, I guarantee the first question you asked me, I'm like, what? But no, we'll see. When we were watching it, it was bare confusing. But I think it's one of them where if you just pay attention, it's okay. And I think because of, like, the pacing of it, it was hard to keep up in places, but I think if you just follow him, following through it, and don't think about it too much as well. I think that's what caught me out when I try overthink what was happening, and then you miss what's happening, like
the gold
while you're trying to figure out what you've just watched.
The gold bit, you were like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think you just gotta just stick with it. Try not to overthink and just watch.
I didn't get it that much. Like, I still don't. And you were saying some stuff where, like, when we were on the call back, like you said, like, our mind was on Nando's.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah. So my mind was all over the place. Yeah. And when you were saying certain things about the painting, I still don't get the painting. Don't get that.
Oh no. We'll get to the painting.
There's like the end and the whole fight scene at the end, like the terrorist thing, and like, I don't get that.
Okay.
And I need you to explain that to me, and you're gonna see me react to that, cause.
Okay. Well, I'll try my best, man, but I can't promise anything. I don't want to give it like big ones and then just like realise that I understood none of it. But at the time, it seemed like it was making sense. That'll probably be because it was a good movie, but I'm not. I'm just a man. You know what I mean? It is confusing, but I'll try.
Like, I was expecting it to be I'm saying I don't understand it. I do understand a bit. But like when you haven't watched Interstellar yet. I'm sure you watch. Like when you watch Interstellar, you kind of get it at the end, and this is sort of movie where you kind of get it at the end. Like Inception, you have to watch a couple of times to get it, sort of. Maybe not once, like twice.
Yeah, you have to just. It's one of them. I think it's quite similar to Inception. You know,
more similar to Inception
like,
than
the concept's like completely different, but I think you have to just be switched on the whole way through. For
sure, you can't. And the movie's 2 hours and a half, 3 hours, whatever.
Yeah.
And
but it didn't feel like that, man.
It's gone. Like,
yeah, it was a lot of build up, and then the second it starts picking up. Yeah, it's just 2 hours just fly by like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, so let's start off with this. But
yeah,
the first scene I don't get, and this is what confused me the most, because you said it's all like a cyclical thing, right? It's all like a cycle.
Yeah, so I thought it was right. So first scene we're talking about is the one where our boy John Washington, he's woken up in the back of this van, innit? And he's sent into this opera house because they're under siege. There's a terrorist attack happening there or something like that. We don't really know why. I don't think they ever really explain it. Maybe they do, but it doesn't seem that important. And they all run in, all these special forces trying to get the terrorists, I guess, because they're holding this like the orchestra hostage and all of the people in the crowd. And then, basically, the first sort of like, you know, beef happens and like there's like a bit of a gunfight and they're like trying to save the hostages and they gas the hostages or something to like make them all go unconscious. But like, I don't know, the thing that kind of sent me west from that opening scene is everyone sort of seemed to know
what was going on.
It was already going to happen before it happened. It's like before the terrorists came out with all their guns, like all the police and like the army were all set up outside already.
But then this is what I think.
Yeah.
But that is, you see at the end where we're gonna be going in like everywhere about. Like we can't literally go on it.
No, I think we should probably hold back a little bit. I don't think you want to be jumping around too much. Because we're gonna be baffed as it is.
Okay, fine.
And if someone like,
someone's listening to it. Yeah. So, okay, then I'll have to shout. Then I have to wait.
No, but all I'm gonna say is it's a banging opening scene because it's
All I think is the opening scene and then that bit and then you know what it says Tenet.
Yeah.
I feel like that opening bit is completely different to the actual story.
Yeah. Okay, I get that. It's like.
It's like a little preview.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't seem too related.
Yeah, it's not related.
But it introduces you to the action,
the idea as well.
Yeah, because that's when you first see the bullet going backwards,
which was a madness.
Yeah,
which was a complete.
I don't know how they did that. I don't know how.
I don't know how. Yeah, how do you think of that? How do you record? How do you film? Whatever that. There was that going backwards. What else was going back? People going backwards.
Not straight away, but throughout the film.
It was just the bullet at the start, and then the whole scene where there were. Like, you have to mimic the way the bullet, like, you want the bullet. So, you know how it goes in inverted way, right?
Yeah.
And how the bullet was on the table, and then he was trying to get it, and he couldn't do it. And she said, you have to, like, act as if you
dropped it. Yeah.
That is a madness.
Yeah.
Because you have to, like, pretend.
That's when he's trying to learn the power, innit?
That is crazy.
Yeah. No, it's pretty
that
sick.
That is mad. Like,
Yeah, but the thing is, this is what you were saying in the build-up. You can't think too much about the science of it because the science doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but
they do kind of explain it, and there's like Robert Pattinson's character is a physicist, right?
Yeah,
and he's like trying to explain it the whole way through, and they do like a pretty decent job. Like it kind of seems like to be like semi-rooted in science, but like it doesn't actually make any sense. Like the whole principle is like entropy is reversed, which is like basic entropy in physics basically defines which direction time moves. That's just like the thing. So if, I guess it doesn't make any sense in the laws of physics, but if entropy was reversed, then maybe it would move backwards. Like knows. So I guess the fact that that's a given, the rest you kind of justifies just like everything moving backwards. You know, you kind of just have to take it at face value. But I loved it, man. It all looked sick, and they didn't really get carried away with the actual special effects of it. Too much.
The whole go backwards thing.
Yeah.
There wasn't actually much of it. Like after the okay, I'm gonna try and stick to order because I don't want to keep on going like that. Like at the start it was the whole bullet thing, but then after that, when he went and saw what's his name, Michael Caine.
Oh yeah.
When he went and saw him, none of that stuff. Like the next part where we saw that was the painting bit.
Yeah.
And you clocked the whole scene. There and then you're like, yeah.
Yeah. Nah, that was like quite a lot later on, but just because.
No, but you told me straight away.
Yeah. No, it was
the
like,
scene ended and you were like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. I was like,
but because it's Christopher Nolan, man.
No, but
I just knew he was gonna us like that. I just had a feeling.
I was sitting there
it's
and I was
that's
like,
interstellar as man.
You told me it and I was like, nah, this guy's waffling. Because there was two people, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like. And then that part you were wrong, slightly.
Yeah, I was.
But then you got the idea right. And I was like, oh my god, now how'd you do that? But we'll get on to that.
So where were we at when we just went on a tangent? Where were we like in the movie just then? We've gone through the first scene. There's like a big siege.
And then he goes to
we see his first first instance of like the
bullet thing.
The bullet going backwards, and then he. At that point, basically,
he wakes up in that
he gets captured. He gets captured, doesn't he? And I don't really know. Thing is, we don't know why. I think it might have been a big setup, like the whole siege thing. It might have, and him getting captured at least was a setup.
No, but the reason why he was in that coma was the pill.
Yeah, exactly. But he thought it was a suicide pill, didn't he?
It was what was it?
It's like a coma pill, I guess. But like, so John Washington, main guy, he hasn't got a name in the film as well.
He's got no name. He's the only one that has no name.
Yeah, his character's never given a name. He's just called the protagonist. Yeah. Like, you look at it on the cast on IMDb, it's like
no name.
Yeah, but anyway, he gets captured by these terrorists that are holding the siege, right? And then he gets like knocked out, and he wakes up strapped to a chair on a train track or something. And then he tries to take his suicide pill. Like the guy who's holding him hostage takes a suicide pill out of his vest and goes, "Oh, you can't have that." Dashes it away. And then the guy in front of him, who's also being captured, falls over.
Who I think is what's his name? Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. Yeah. I don't know. You know, I feel like this.
I low-key think.
So just let me explain what I think. Right. So he like falls over in front of him, and he's like got his own suicide pill out and holds it out for John Washington's like drop down and eat and kill himself. Right. And then everything goes black, and he wakes up like in like a hospital bed on a boat or something, and he's with this like I don't know Secret Service guy, like so just a guy in a suit and he says, "Well done, you passed the test."
Yeah, because he sacrificed himself for not giving away his
mates.
Yeah.
So I think now that we're talking about it, obviously like people probably prove me wrong. They watch the movie again. Like, they literally just point out where I gone wrong. But just like from my memory, which to be fair is a long movie. This happened about 5 hours ago now. But anyway, I think the whole siege was set up to see if there was a soldier who was willing to like just kill himself and like save everyone in that situation. You know, it was like the whole thing was a test, and then he basically passed it. So he was chosen to like
even in the opera house.
Yeah, I think it was maybe it was I don't know, maybe not, but I think it was maybe at least the capturing was staged, so just to see if he was like willing to kill himself.
And then they put him on that little.
Yeah, they put him in a wind turbine or something, don't they? And then they introduced him to that
Harry Potter
girl.
Wasn't it?
I don't think I write down the actress name.
Harry Potter girl.
Yeah, she's called Laura, I think, in the film.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But.
And then she starts teaching him about this like reverse entropy thing.
Straight away.
Yeah.
And they don't know anything about it. They just know that it's here. And then.
And she says, she says. The only thing I'd heard in the build up to the movie, I watched the trailers ages ago, and you said like you've spoken to a couple of mates that had seen it. I literally cut myself off. I didn't want to hear anything, but I did hear this one thing on the news was like Christopher Nolan said, "Don't try and understand it, feel it." So I thought he was talking about like the whole movie when he said that. Like, don't think too much about it, just watch it. So she says that to him when he's trying to learn the power. Yeah, he was that she showed she was like, "Oh, just like you've got to act as if you dropped it and the bullet will jump back into your hand and stuff."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Don't try and understand it, just feel it." She said that and I was like, that's what Christopher Nolan said when he was talking about the movie.
I remember that.
Yeah, so I think that is a pretty good like theme for the movie. I think just don't overthink it, just like watch it, man. Just like
I definitely try to overthink it. I think that's why I've come out of here speechless.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Because that's every time I turned to you and was like, "Mate, they've lost me."
And I was sitting there like, you're asking me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm as bad as you right now.
Because I think you get caught on one bit of it and you try and like just figure that out and you kind of like look away. It's like, nah, there's too much to register right now. I need to figure this out. And you miss everything while you're trying to figure it out.
But yeah, anyways, we got to the part where she gave him the idea and what's going on and stuff, and then what happened after that? She went to.
What happened after that?
I don't remember what happened after that.
He starts trying to track down.
He went to India.
Yeah, so he starts trying to track down
the person who makes the metal or something.
Yeah, so basically, that's it. Right. So like, she asked him about the bullet, doesn't she? And she, oh yeah, man, you're right.
He does like a reverse.
He does, yeah. So now that was sick. So the bullet that he's like training with, they were like, "Oh, what is this? It's like special material." It's like, yeah, it's like inverted. It's inverted material. It's like, oh, like, how do you do that? And she's like, "Oh, it's like, can you tell me the composition of the bullet or something?" Because if he's like, obviously he's like CIA, whatever he is.
Yeah.
And so he's gonna know who designed the bullet because of what it's made from.
Yeah.
So he finds the bullet, finds out who would have designed it. Goes to India. Because that's where the arms dealer is.
And then before that, he meets in a lobby Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
And he just comes out of nowhere, and he says, "Yeah, I'm gonna help you out." He didn't say I'm gonna help you out, but like I'm gonna, like if you want to survive or something, you need me, sort of thing. I think it was something like that.
It was it was quite hard to figure out how Rob Pattinson was so clued in.
He was just shoved in.
He literally just walked straight into the plot.
Yeah.
Just sat down and went, "Oh, I'll have a vodka tonic and he'll have a Diet Coke."
Yeah.
And he was like...
And then he said, and then what's his name? The antagonist said,
John Washington, protagonist.
What did he say? He said something like, "Oh, you know that I don't drink on the job" or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I know everything about you" or something. And then
it was like, it was established pretty early on that Rob Pattinson already knew.
Yeah.
The protagonist.
Everything about him.
Yeah.
And from there, they
he just sort of trusted him. They were just on job together.
And plotted the whole thing to get to the Indian woman who's called Priya.
Yeah, so it's presented at first that like her husband is like a big arms dealer in like Mumbai. Then like they reverse bungee jump up into like a top floor apartment in Mumbai.
That was crazy.
Like the action sequences were so good.
Like that wasn't even the best bit.
I don't even think that was reversed. You know, I don't think that was inverted. I think they actually just slingshot themselves up there. Maybe it was inverted. I don't know. Maybe I'm being stupid for thinking it wasn't.
No, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm deep in it. I don't know,
but it was sick. Whatever it was, it was sick.
It was wavy.
Yeah, and it turns out that his wife was actually the brains of the operation. He was just like a front.
Yeah, front man.
So and they ask her where she got the bullet from, because he thinks that she's got the technology to make something inverted, and she's like, "Oh no, it's not me. It's from this Russian guy."
Who is, what's his name?
Kenneth Branagh. But we only know him by name at this point.
Yeah, we don't really see him.
And so I think the first, maybe it was about 45 minutes, an hour of the movie.
No.
Way longer.
Before like half an hour in.
That was only half an hour in?
Because the car scene was an hour.
Really?
And that's when I was like, we're not even halfway through, we're at this bit.
I thought they were spent like an hour like just trying to look for the Russian guy.
Nope.
Mad.
But anyways, like she says it's the Russian guy. And then he went and met who? Michael Caine.
Yeah, so I think he's like at this point, because she's told him like the Russian guy's name.
Yeah.
But obviously he's like a big arms dealer.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna like reveal anything too much. So I think he is now trying to like follow this like trail like all the way back to like whoever this Russian arms dealer is. So he goes to London because he's told that he lives in London. So goes to London and meets like one of his associates who's Michael Caine, right? Has like a dinner with him. And then Michael Caine tells him about his wife.
Yeah.
Who is called Kat.
Tall woman.
The tall one.
6'2".
6'2". Yeah, bare tall.
Bare tall.
And he basically poses as like a friend of her husband's, like just dresses up like a billionaire. And he goes with a fake painting in it. Like
the painting is, they do the whole painting scene before they meet him, I swear.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. That's how he kind of like gets into her life. He goes up to her posing as like a billionaire with a really good fake of a painting. But like she knows it's a fake straight away. She's trying to figure out how she knows it's a fake, but she knows it's fake because she's got one.
Yeah, the other one. There's only two.
There's two, and so she's like, "How has he got this?" So that's how they get talking in it, and they have like a dinner.
Yeah.
And then they start talking about how he knows that her one was fake as well.
And then.
This is where I get hazy. I'm not really sure how the paintings work into everything. I have no idea.
So that's why I asked you in the car, like, what's the painting to do with? And you were like,
So she says that the painting is the only reason she stays with Kenneth Branagh. I don't really know why, but
you said that
for some reason it's like his power over her is because of that painting. I can't remember why because it happened a while ago.
But then you said to me in the car, it's because she sold him that painting.
Yeah, she did. She sold him a fake painting for like $9 million or something.
I mean, I'm gonna hold someone captive for selling me something fake for $9 million.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but like, I don't really see how that makes her stay with. Maybe it's that simple.
Does she know where the? Wait, she knew where the.
She knew it was fake.
But where was the real one?
I don't know.
But we didn't even see the real one.
I don't know.
The one in Oslo, the airport, Freeport,
was his fake one.
The fake one.
I think. But like, as long as I might have this completely wrong, but I think as long as he owns that fake painting,
he has control over it.
Yeah, right. I can't really remember why.
But yeah, the painting bit, I don't know, but the whole scene, the whole madness to try and get that painting.
Oh yeah, when they go,
incredible.
They pull off a heist in it to try and get into
craziest, the. It was so. We've gone over the whole Michael Caine bit after, and then they meet.
So they're trying to track down. I've got his name written down. I can't want Kenneth Branagh's guy. What's he called? The Russian guy.
Andrei.
Yeah.
Sator.
Andrei what?
Sator. Something like that.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, people are gonna watch this anyway. They're gonna know in it, so.
Andrei Sator. That's his name.
Right.
But yeah, so they haven't met him yet. We haven't seen who he is. Like, but they're trying to track him down because they know this guy's making like inverse. Inverse technology. He knows how to do it, right?
Yep.
And they go to heist this painting out of Oslo. I can't really think why now.
But wasn't them to get that painting? Was just a way to get to him?
I thought so. Like in hindsight, and maybe at the time I thought something different, but now I'm looking back on it, I can't really remember why. So I think it was all just a way for them to try and track down Andrei. They were trying to get him.
And they went into the Freeport and tried.
Yeah, I didn't know what Freeport was. Until which was quite mad.
What is it? It's when you don't get your free.
It's like they've got loads of. It's where rich people keep like
expensive
assets. Yeah, like expensive paintings. They keep them in an airport, so they don't have to pay tax on them.
Yeah.
But they can have them, but they don't officially own them, so they don't pay tax on them because they're being kept in this like.
Smart.
It's smart. I bet that's a real thing as well.
Nah, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he kept that in that painting, the fake one, which he thought was real. I think he probably knew it was fake, innit?
Yeah.
But he kept that in a Freeport, and then they tried getting that, and then the whole scene.
So when we say they try get it, it's Rob Pattinson
and the antagonist
and the protagonist, which is
bad.
John Washington.
Yeah.
Keep forgetting the guys. Yeah.
But,
and the heist is sick. It's actually really funny, like scene, really good setup. They fly a plane through the front, and it's like obviously really high security because there's loads of really valuable there, and they just completely murk all the security.
And they're murking it, and then until they get into this room, which we were confused about at the start, and then as we get onto it, we'll tell you why. They get attacked by two people.
It appears to be two people.
But like so Robert Pattinson and John, was that his name?
Yeah, John Washington.
John Washington is on like either side of like a window.
Like a one-way mirror sort of thing. It's like,
and they're walking through, and there are bullet holes in the window, or wherever it was, and
Rob Pattinson's like, what happened here?
And then he's like, what's about to happen?
He's like, it hasn't happened yet.
And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. And then this guy,
like the Stig, like he's in like full like motorcycle, like out, he's in like a respirator, like he looks like he's just been diving or something. And he's got like a full like jet black outfit and a helmet with like.
And they just
have the sickest fight, like a reverse time fight.
And the maddest thing about that was, he had to fight backwards, didn't he?
Yeah.
To counter it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was such a sick sequence, man. Such a sick sequence.
And then they were having this little fight. Rob Pattinson was getting chased by one guy. John Washington was getting chased by another guy.
See, this is where I lose it, because should we just say it? Because we've already talking to people like they've seen it, isn't it? So we don't have. It's not really a spoiler because we spoiled Bear a bit. Already.
One of them was inverted.
Yeah. I mean, they were both inverted, no?
They're both the same.
Like the guy but it was the same guy. Alright, basically, Rob Pattinson in the fight, Rob Pattinson goes round this corner and takes the helmet off him. You don't see the guy's face, but you see that Rob Pattinson's taking his helmet off and looks at him. And then instantly just drops the helmet and goes and just walks off. And I was like, bruv, he's ended the fight because he's seen who it is. Why would he have done that?
And who did you think?
I thought he's just seen it's Rob Pattinson
in the future.
Yeah, he's just seen his future self, and that's because in my head that's the only reason why he would stop fighting him. And then it turns back, it cuts back, and then John Washington's still having this really like crazy fight
with this guy.
Yeah, and like all these bullets are getting fired backwards and like the gun's like dropped and then he picks it back up again.
He's rolling backwards.
Yeah,
he's jumping
so
backwards.
sick.
It's
Such a sick fight.
Crazy.
And he stabs the motorcycle guy in the arm or something, and then
the motorcycle guy in the end escapes.
He just gets like flies out
Yeah.
under this like grid, like out into the airport. Like he escapes the Freeport bit and gets back into like the main like runway.
He's gone.
And then just gone, yeah.
And that part was a madness. And
we don't really know like what happened. We don't really, like, in the moment we don't really know who that was or why.
I was completely like lost.
Yeah.
I was already lost. I was gone.
Yeah.
And your idea that when you said it at the time, I was like, fair enough.
Yeah, I didn't know why or how.
But at the start,
that seemed like the only reason why Rob Pattinson in a Christopher Nolan movie would just be like, I'm not going to fight this guy who's just trying to kill me.
Yeah, fair enough. And in the end, we find out
it was nearly what I thought it was. Nearly. I wasn't right.
I would still give it to you though, because you can't really.
Yeah, it was so detailed, man. It was like, sick movie. But I like that because even if you like think you know what to expect, it's just a little
change, yeah.
So you don't really, at no point in the movie do you really know what's gonna happen, which is sick.
And what happened is what we're gonna get onto now, is where. Well, no, we'll keep going because it's gonna come in a circle.
Yeah.
So what happened after?
It's all gonna complete itself. What? And then they find Kenneth Branagh. They found out he's like a massive like arms dealer in Russia. He's basically the man who's like hailed by like this woman Priya, the Indian arms dealer. He's basically like, and then by Michael Caine as well. He's the man who can communicate with the future. So he's the one who's designing all of these inverted bullets and this like. So at that point, I was kind of thinking that maybe Rob Pattinson was working for Kenneth Branagh from the future. You know, he'd been like sent back in time to go and kill John Washington or something like that. I don't really know why, but you're basically told that he's the key like to the future. He's the only one that can communicate with the future, and he's the one who's got all the technology of like this reversible stuff. Yeah. And then you meet him. He's horrible, isn't he? Yeah, he's a horrible guy.
Awful.
Yeah. And he's married to that girl Cat, that woman Cat who was it? John Washington's kind of getting a bit sweet on. Like he's really like, he's been kind of welcomed into this.
The group.
Yeah. Because he's like posing as one of Cat's like friends, so he can sort of infiltrate and like meet Kenneth Branagh. And he realizes how horribly he's treating Cat, and like how kind of dangerous he is. Like he's just trying to figure out like his kind of role in everything, I guess. But then you see him picking up this weapon, innit? You see this guy delivering a weapon to him, a box, and he beats him up with a brick of gold or something. Like really brutal. And then
he gets caught.
John Washington gets caught spying on the whole thing.
And then
he's just like, all right, this guy's a pagan.
Yeah. And then
that's when the driving scene happens quite soon after that.
Driving scene, I can't lie, I was getting hungry in it, and I was just starting to get tired.
Yeah.
I was starting to daze off.
But then
like,
they wake you back up
then
again.
It's because I was concentrating a lot, and like I was getting tired.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, bang.
Yeah.
Because
that was like another heist, didn't it? It was like it did. You know what? Considering like how like confusing it was, it did feel like a bit of a heist movie at first.
It's like a Bond movie.
Yeah, it just for a bit.
James Bond movie.
Yeah, yeah, he's got a bit of the James Bond about him. John Washington, I'd say.
I would give it to him.
Yeah, man.
I don't know who
in that suit.
All the suits banged, by the way. Every single suit he was in banged.
Yeah, costume designer for that movie.
Incredible.
What done. Yeah.
But yeah, like the car scene was solid.
Yeah, really,
very
really
good.
sick. And that sort of does get wrapped up in the whole earlier bit in Oslo, in the Freeport. Basically
going backwards.
The time loop.
Yeah.
It all it's all involved, which is sick. And you basically figure out by the end of the movie that in every action sequence that you go through, there's like inverted person going through it.
And we saw that, but we didn't clock it.
Yeah, you don't notice it at the time, which was banging because I wouldn't want to know at that point.
And after the whole car scene where he's trying to get that one of the 9 bombs, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're right. So basically, they don't know why at that point. We haven't found out why, but we know that this suitcase that Kenneth Branagh's got is a weapon.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is, but we know it's bad that he has it.
Yeah.
So we try and heist that. What is it? The Rob Pattinson and John Washington and the boys try and like rob him, and then this is when you find out it goes a bit deeper because there's a big car crash. John Washington gets like captured, does he? Like he's separated from Rob Pattinson, and then Rob Pattinson says, "Don't worry, I'll call the cavalry," and he's like, "Who's the cavalry? Like what is this? Like what am I even doing?" And then the army turn up and basically the weapon does get heisted. Like they do take the suitcase away from like the convoy that it's in, don't they?
Yeah.
But then Kenneth Branagh finds out that he was going to do it, and then has a gun to his wife's head, who he knows that the protagonist is kind of sweet on. He's got a gun to her head and says, "Give me my suitcase back."
On the other side of the...
Like, while they're driving down this motorway.
Yeah.
And then as they're going down, there's like a middle lane that's free and a car kind of comes into it, and they bundle the suitcase over it, and Kenneth Branagh takes it and then drives off with it. And then you start, at that point in the movie, you learn about the whole, I can't remember what they call it, basically the time machine, you know what I mean? You walk into it and you can be reversed, you can be put in backwards motion, basically. And Kenneth Branagh's figured that out. Like, it's his machine. Like, he has that conversation with him through the mirror, through the glass, when he's in reverse and we're in normal time at this point.
Because John's hidden the bomb.
Yeah, he's hidden the weapon somewhere, and he's asking where he is, and he's holding his wife hostage. But the mad thing about that whole like interchange is it's backwards for him.
Yeah. And
he can still communicate with us on the other side of the screen, who are still going forwards.
Yeah.
And that's the first time you kind of see someone on the other side, because until that point, you've basically just seen cars driving backwards or bullets flying back into a gun sort of thing. You haven't really seen someone move backwards and do it themselves, right? You haven't
especially communicating as well.
Yeah, that was quite mad.
Weird.
And then basically he shoots his wife, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He shoots his wife because he can't confirm whether or not John Washington was telling him the truth about where he hid the weapon. So he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna shoot her anyway." He shoots her, and then leaves. Goes like, I can't remember if he moves back around the other side, goes back into forward time or something.
Nah, he went to go get the piece in inverted aspect because he was wearing the mask. He was wearing the oxygen thing because remember when they go in inverted.
I feel like he shot her, and then came back to find the piece because I don't know. You might be right, but either way, he leaves. Right, he dips. We don't know whether or not he's in forward time or like moving backwards, but he can switch between them anyway. So I can't really remember. But what happens next is John Washington runs round and sees that she's dying, and basically is told that the only way to save her is to start like going backwards in time, because like the further you get away from that point in time, the healthier she'll be in it. If you kept her in like going forward, having just been shot in the gut, she would have died in hours. But because he goes around the other side and goes further away from the event, like she starts healing and starts going back to how she was. So at this point, John Washington has started moving backwards through time.
Yeah, so he's gone through the machine.
He's gone through the machine to save her.
Yeah.
And carry on moving backwards through time with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
And that is when starts kind of like making sense.
And that's where I lose it. I've already lost it, but then this is where I just like they go through it, right? So like as soon as he goes through the little portal thing, he straight away goes to the scene where
basically they're trying to figure out where they can find
the piece. Yeah. Yeah,
I guess so.
Yeah.
But I think they assumed that Kenneth Branagh's going to find it at first, right?
No, but didn't they give him a false, like, he lied? Because he said, like, oh, I'm going to lie to you.
Yeah, he did lie.
Because I know he's already going to shoot his wife.
Yeah, you're right.
So by the time he goes back and he goes and tries to get the bomb, doesn't not John, what's the other guy? Andre trick him and finds the...
Yeah.
Or like he hands it.
So basically, there's that so they go... walk around and like it's quite a long delay. That's why we're getting confused, I think, because there is like a whole like, oh, if you go back you can't breathe normal air, which is why they're always like got the masks on, and like physics will be completely reversed. Like he says, can I drive? It's like, I mean, you can try, but was it friction and aerodynamics, and that will be completely opposite. And you're basically kind of introduced to how life is going to be when you're moving backwards through time. And he goes and gets in this car, starts like bumping around the road, driving really badly, and then finds out it seems like it's by chance, maybe it's completely intentional, but he is the car that kind of is in between the two when they do the changeover of the weapon. And when he throws a suitcase over, he gets the weapon, the suitcase opens and he gets it. But Kenneth Branagh sees that.
And he gets it.
And he gets it off him again.
And then he sort of flips the car and he blows up the car and what happened?
So because, he basically he crashes the car, right? And you're also told in the big build-ups, like, physics is completely if you die in a fire, you actually freeze to death. So like he basically, Kenneth Branagh sets fire to the car he's in, like drops a lighter on the gasoline in it, and then he catches fire, and then he just like freezes up instead, and then Rob Pattinson wakes him up from his hypothermia.
En route.
And they're still going backwards in time at this point. Yeah. They're still going backwards.
Yeah. But they will go backwards in time, driving
even further
in the ambulance, or wherever that vehicle was.
In a cargo, like a cargo box.
In that inverted towards the Freeport.
Yeah.
And this is where we clock onto it.
Yeah. But they're going back. They're going back there because in Oslo, in the Freeport, was the last place we saw one of those time machines. That's why they need to go back.
Because they wanted to
go back into normal time.
I think.
Did they?
They didn't go back into normal time because they got to the Oslo bit and.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah, they can't go back. They can't go back.
This is where
however, I can't remember. I'm trying to think why they had to go back to Oslo.
I have no idea. I don't know if you can work it out. I can't. But anyways, however, I don't know how he filmed this, right? But there's a scene where the inverted people are running normally forwards or whatever. So that's John, Robert, whoever, like the actors' names, right?
So we've basically changed perspectives at this point. We're all, the audience is now moving backwards. With the three main characters.
But then everyone else is running backwards.
Like they're all reverse time.
Everything, like the gas that was going out of the engines, the fire was going back. Like people were running back. Like, obviously, you can edit that and whatever. But like I don't know how he's done that and how he's thought of that. That was insane. That was incredible. That whole scene was madness. And they go to the Freeport.
I'm trying to think why they went to the Freeport.
I have no idea, and I'm not going to waste time on it. We don't have long.
Yeah, fair enough.
But let's just say they're trying to get back. Let's just say they're trying to get back because they've given up, maybe. I don't know.
Well, at least, because we know now that it actually, in the Freeport initially, when they're fighting the guys in motorcycle suits, it is them. So even if it's just to like satisfy the time loop, they have to be there. They have to be there because that's what happened already. So you know it's going to happen again.
And they're fighting themselves.
Yeah. And the sick thing is, as they're getting closer to the Freeport in time, they're like, they're travelling back and they're in the cargo thing. And he wakes up, he's like, oh, my arm. And he looks at his arm and his arm's bruised. He's like, oh, what, are you injured? He's like, no, I don't know. And then closer and closer to the time, his arm starts bleeding
out,
and then we're like, then you start thinking, the first time around he stabbed the guy, and he's like, oh, you got to put on this big ventilation suit, like so you can breathe normal air. It's like that's him. It's him. It's like he stabbed himself. And then that mad crazy fight they had in the Freeport where they're like rolling over each other and shooting guns. John Washington against his future self.
That was crazy. That was incredible.
It was so sick.
That fight happened, and then and then it gets onto the big bit, right? Right in. That's it. I'm pretty sure. Like, that's not it, but like the next bit is the big bit. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So.
Which I don't know anything about.
Right.
You need to.
So this, I kind of clocked this bit.
Yeah.
Like when we were leaving.
Okay.
So when they were initially leaving, right at the start, the first scene, when they were leaving that siege of the opera house, they were I can't remember who told him, but Michael Caine might have told him later in the movie. And that same day, I think it was the Middle East. I can't remember exactly where he says it is, but he's like, "Oh, there was a massive explosion. There was like
on the same day as the opera thing."
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
There was like this is what he was told. I was going to try and tell you this on the way out. Be like, no, not talking about it anymore.
No, because we came out and I was like, listen, we have to record it. We have to talk about this on here. Yeah. You were trying to say something. I was like, look, I'm not saying anything. Yeah. Let's just keep it on here.
Right. So there's I can't remember where he said it was. I can't remember what he said it was. But he basically said on this exact same moment, something happened in the middle. I think it's like they call it like temporal. They kept saying like time travel. So like, oh, so there's nuclear weapons and there's temporal like warfare, and that's the time travel warfare, right? So there was something in like a temporal field on this day in this place, and we at the time we were like, well, that doesn't mean anything to me. But I think that's where the big war happens, because that is where the last piece of the
9-piece
of the weapons that Kenneth Branagh's trying to put together. That's where the last one is. Okay. And his plan is to basically have
he's dying.
All the pieces. Yeah, he's ill. He's like got cancer or something. Yeah. So he basically wants the world to end when he dies.
When he dies, yeah.
So he's gonna reverse the time, invert the entire world, so it annihilates with the real world. Yeah. So that's his plan for when he dies. Because he's just a selfish. He wants the whole world to finish when he does. And his plan is to basically have all these pieces that will end the world. Like, I don't really know what they were. They were like, I think they were.
You're trying to figure out the name, but even I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, but they were like, there's like a scientist in the future who figured out that one day, if someone put all these pieces together, they would be able to annihilate the world. They would be able to reverse time of the world, and everything would just fuck itself. So she hid them all on like died around the earth, and then Kenneth Branagh's the man who's putting them together. He thinks it's like his destiny to like destroy the world, right? Mm-hmm. So he has all of these pieces in this big like crater, and he's gonna blow it up and have it just buried in the earth, and it's gonna like the world will just like no one will be able to get it. It'll be put together, and then the world will end, right? So they've got to retrieve these pieces before Kenneth Branagh can blow them up, basically, and that's when the massive war happens. So I think they go with that soldier guy. They go like the cavalry. He was called Ives or something. I don't know what the actor is. I don't know who the actor is. But he was basically like when Rob Pattinson was like, I'm going to call the cavalry.
That's him.
He ran the cavalry.
Yeah. My bad.
Like he was like the general. I don't know who it was. I don't know whose military it was, but they were like soldiers in it. And then they have a massive fight, like with I assume Kenneth Branagh's guys, who are they're all trying to like make sure that the bomb goes off and the world is destroyed, and they're obviously trying to retrieve the last piece.
But there's two parties of people. There's the inverted people and then there's normal.
Yeah. So earlier on with the heist that they tried to do, Kenneth Branagh's team, which is why they won, they basically had one team moving forward through time and one team moving backwards through time from the future until they both sort of come together at the same time and do the same goal, achieve the same goal, which was to steal the suitcase off
the guy,
John Washington.
Yeah. Oh.
And they call it like a temporal pincer movement or something. There's like one group of people moving forward, one group of people moving backwards.
And that's why at the end they had that timer, and they said when at 0 it detonates or something.
No, at 0 you have to be back in this crater.
Yeah, that's it. Oh right.
And then basically in the big battle at the end when they're trying to get the thing, the last piece before Kenneth Branagh blows it up, they they like all put like they have a bunch of people with a blue armband and a bunch of people with a red armband. They go and stand at like on either sides of the battlefield and basically just move backwards to try and achieve the same thing. But then it starts going wrong, and I can't remember why, but basically there's a man that Kenneth Branagh has down in the pit, and they can't open the door or something, and basically it turns out that only two people, like, they can't. The other one team, the blue team, can't know what the red team are going to do, and the red team can't know what the blue team's going to do, because if they do, then
it'll just mess up.
Yeah, like they can't be sure that they'll meet. Like they're like, I don't know. I don't know what to call it.
It'll just mess up the whole time thing.
The plan won't work.
Yeah.
Because like something could go wrong if they see that like their future self isn't over there. Then they know they're gonna die. So they're not gonna behave as they did to get that outcome, right? So they're all kind of moving towards each other, and then it basically turns out that only two people can carry out like the final deed, which is like go and steal the thing. Because I can't remember why though. Basically, I think because just like the captain, the general guy says, look, no one can collect all of these pieces. No one can like leave the field with these. Like it's too dangerous. Because if another man like Kenneth Branagh comes along, he can destroy the world. You know, like if we go and get this piece, we're dying. Like we have to hide it and kill ourselves because no one can ever know where it is.
Yep.
So I think they only send the general and John Washington in to steal it. But then it turns out that Rob Pattinson was like, no. Like he was on the blue team. He was working again. But then he clocks something's going wrong. Goes like ahead of himself. Turns back. Joins the red team. And basically tries to like join them and like warn them to not go down there. They go down there, and they end up in this big fight with this henchman of like Kenneth Branagh, isn't it? And
that the whole bit where there was the door and the gate, I don't know it. But like
so they were trying to break into this door, and in the meantime they're trying to get through this door to stop the bald guy from destroying the world, detonating the bomb. They're like crying, like all hope is lost, like John Washington's about to die, and like he's got a gun to his head, and he can't open the door to stop the guy. So it's like, what are you gonna do? A bit of a climax at this point because it's like, all this for like a locked door. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he goes to shoot him through the sort of through the metal bars.
Yeah.
And as he pulls the trigger, the dead guy on the floor, who was in a blue armband and a helmet, just jumps up, stands up, gets shot in the head, takes the bullet for John Washington, and then the door opens because he's shot the gun off, and it's like, I guess like opened the gate somehow, and then John Washington comes in, beats him up, saves the day, and then gets dragged out of the hole by Rob Pattinson,
who's waiting, and he knew, right?
Yeah.
And then
so that blue guy must have been put there in advance to just take the.
I thought the blue guy was
Robert Pattinson. So did I, but I don't know if it was. Maybe actually no, maybe it was.
But then where was his other self?
Yeah, he gets on the helicopter with him, and then he says at the end when he's saying bye to him, it's like, I'll see you in the past or something, but like we can't show anymore because I'm the only one with the key to that door. Which basically means I've got to kill myself for you to get in. So Rob Pattinson's really like just does save the world. Puts his life
his
on the
character low key was
sick,
and like his acting was good as well.
Yeah, no, it's really good. But then at that point, the loop's kind of completed.
We clocked,
and they've gone at this time they've gone the whole way back through the movie. So the movie goes to the heist in the cars, and then John Washington switches direction, comes all the way back to the same day as
the opera thing.
Yeah, that's the opera thing.
Yeah, because it happens.
And then they basically figure out that John Washington set up the whole thing.
Yeah, it was him.
Yeah, he keeps going further back in time, and then basically goes like, all right, now. I think he just lives going backwards now.
Because then after that, the last scene was when he saves a cat, right? Picking up.
Yeah, he saves cat.
Was that backwards?
That was him still going backwards, I think. Yeah. I think he's just basically just living backwards now, and he's going to go all the way back in time. I don't really know. I think that's like a similar sort of thing to like DiCaprio spinning the top at the end of Inception. I don't think you ever really find out like whether or not he turned back around or not. I think he's just living again.
But living backwards.
I think so, but I don't think that gets answered.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, but they're basically at the end when he's saying goodbye to Robert Pattinson when they're all going their separate ways. He goes like, "It's like, who do you work for? Like, who put you up to all of this? Like, how do you know you've got to do that?" And he's like, "You did."
Yeah, that threw me off.
Yeah,
and
then at that point, he hasn't done it yet. He's still got to go further back in time and meet him all the way back there and set it all up. Yeah. Yeah.
I when you explain it, like when we talk about it now, yeah, like I'm kind of understanding it more. But like when you're watching it there, I didn't clock that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Well, you've got to just what was it?
Feel it. No, just watch it.
Yeah. Don't. Yeah.
You know one part.
Don't try and understand it.
One part of the movie that sort of like, not threw me. I was like, whoa! Like when I think it was the Priya or whatever her name was. I think her name was Priya. She said like you're always communicating with yourself. Like even now, like us, we're always communicating with
the future.
Because like when you send a message, you're talking to someone in the future.
Just email is just communicating with the future. Yeah.
How crazy that is.
Yeah.
You never think of that.
Yeah.
And this guy just thinks of that.
Yeah.
Guys making movies like this.
Yeah.
Like,
and you know what? It's one of those where you can't overthink it because fundamentally, right, entropy just doesn't get reversed. That's impossible.
Yeah.
But it's such like a fundamental thing, and if you just went, you know what if you could do that? And all of a sudden you've just got this whole sick, like high concept, sci-fi heist action movie. Just changing one rule. I think it's
guy's
sick.
a genius. Like this movie, like I told you before, like I've had mixed reviews. People said they didn't like it and stuff like that, but like this is a sort of movie you have to watch in the cinema. You cannot watch it on your laptop. You cannot watch it on wherever. You have to watch it in the cinema. And I highly recommend you watch it in the cinema.
No, I couldn't recommend it more, man. I loved it the whole way through. Like even when you're baffed.
We were hungry.
Yeah.
And we, as the movie was going, we just got less and less hungry.
I was ready to eat when the 12A Tenet came up. I was like, hungry. I'm gonna struggle. This is gonna be a 2.5 hour movie. I'm gonna be pissed off the whole way through. And I was pretty fine, which is unheard of for me. And then, I don't know how I did it.
As soon as the movie ended,
like food.
Straight.
Nah.
Oh man.
But that just tells you how good it is, man. I would do it all over again.
I'm glad that it's the first movie I watched in the cinema since.
Definitely worth the wait as well.
100%. Like
that's been pretty much a 9-month wait for us to watch that movie.
Because we've been talking about it for ages.
Yeah. So I loved it.
Another 4 years until he drops another movie, which is.
Yeah, I mean, I can wait though. I'm still gonna be thinking about this 4 years from now, man. Because we've brushed over a lot of stuff. Because it's obviously
we can't go over it all.
We've gone over the big points and like the sort of big scenes and like how they all kind of tied together.
Yeah.
But there's so much like.
There's little things we can't go over, like
just when all the relationships between the characters are sort of getting like.
Like we didn't even talk enough about Kat, bro.
Yeah.
Kat's huge.
Yeah.
And like we.
She basically saves the world by right at the end.
And I'm not even going to touch into that because that's going to take another 20 minutes.
But that's the reason why we can't talk about Kat's bit is because I don't understand it. Because that's what the painting is.
I just don't get good vibes.
The painting and the sun, like.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't understand. I just don't understand like how it all ties together. But she basically did save the world.
Yeah, Loki. Yeah.
Because she stopped Kenneth Branagh from killing himself too early.
And detonate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they dragged his body across the ocean.
Yeah, his
sky.
Yeah, man.
That was
good. It was a good kill.
Yeah.
He was a as well. So good for her, man. Got him back. Yeah.
It's a good movie, man. It's very good. And yeah, like if you haven't, by the time I release, like we're recording this on the 1st of September. I'm gonna say, yeah, 1st of September. By the time I release this, if you guys haven't watched it, then. You got a stinker.
Don't deserve to watch it, bro.
You got a stinker.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I honestly think John Washington, top.
Nah, he's
top actor. I think he's probably my favourite actor.
I'm glad that he's not taken because his dad is a big actor. We all know that. Like I'm glad that it's not that like he's not feeling under pressure. You know, you get that pressure in it. If your dad's like that sort of actor. Yeah. This guy, like maybe he is.
I didn't know he was his son. I just thought he had the same name. And I heard it was his son. I was like, not surprised.
He's
a
insane.
sick
He's
actor.
insane. He's got bright. He's young as well, innit? I'm like, what?
He's
late
young, yeah,
20s,
yeah.
early 30s,
And he's already holding down like
this
main role
Christopher Nolan
in
movie.
the Christopher Nolan
Crazy.
film. Yeah.
And Robert Pattinson, by the way, he's very good as well. And
Yeah.
I've always given him stick. I haven't really watched
Yeah,
much of him. And
since
like,
Twilight,
Twilight's whole thing.
I've been kind of debating it.
But like with this movie, and then he's got Batman coming.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it'll
I'm
be good for Batman. It'll be good for Batman.
No, he's a good actor. And I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, this movie was. What are you rating it? We should rate it. We should do it every time we review a movie. We should rate it. We've got time in it. Yeah, come on, let's rate. Out of like, we'll do like a whole grade system, like A, B, like A star.
Oh, you want to grade it? Okay.
The only issue
I'm not going to start with. Yeah, go on.
The only issue I had with the movie, which I don't know if you might see in the cinema, it might not be on DVD and whatever, or wherever we watch it, but in the cinema, what I told you when we came up with the beats, the music and stuff was amazing.
Yeah.
Like it was incredible.
Oh, you don't think if you watch it in like your living room, it won't be the same spectacle?
There's that, but when the characters were speaking, I feel like the volume of the characters speaking were very low.
Oh yeah, well,
not very low, but
because in comparison, I guess.
Yeah, in comparison to other movies,
especially because like what they're saying is so.
Yeah, you have to sit there like.
Yeah.
And then you miss something, and you're trying to clock, and then you miss something like that.
Yeah.
So that was the only issue I had, but. I mean, other than that, I would give it. I'm not gonna give it an A star.
Yeah, I can't start with an A star. I can't be the first rating.
It's either.
I'll give it an A though. I'll give it an A.
It has to be an A, man.
I really did enjoy it. There are a couple of points, and I'm gonna have to watch it again to really try and figure it out.
I just want to watch it again, but just specifically the whole painting bit.
Yeah.
I want to clock.
I'd pay so much more attention to Kat because she definitely.
Yeah, something.
She tied it all together. Really, she was basically the reason why John Washington got involved with Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, I need to.
I've completely forgotten her significance.
Who? Kat?
Yeah, completely forgotten how it all ties in.
I need to check into it. But yeah, I'd give it an A. I think it's a solid movie. Definitely a watch. You have to watch it.
Yeah,
And I'm glad I've watched it. I'm very glad. But yeah, man. Before I end this is probably the last time I recorded with you until you're back from London. But I don't know when you're going to be back. But
I don't know, mate.
But yeah.
But it's been fun, man.
Yeah, we're going to definitely carry on with this.
Yeah.
We have a lot more planned. But yeah, when you're back, we'll carry on recording.
Yeah, we will, man.
But yeah, cool, man.
Ready for it, bro.
Cool, man. Yeah, done.